Hi everyone, and welcome back to Carla. We're a family of 5 who bought a boat with the dream of sailing the world while living together as a family. But to get there, we have to get Carla ship shape again. So on today's episode, we tackle the rusted out fuel and water fills in the deck, remove the last windows, and tidy up the boat.
This one. Well, it's finally time to take out the rest of the windows, I think. And we better...
I'm helping Claus today, just so we avoid smashing any more of these.
Yeah, we can't really afford smashing any more windows. Especially now we're moving to the side windows and to the front windows. Those are the windows that we're going to keep. Yeah, we're keeping them. So hopefully we won't drop any, but we're talking too much about it now. Yeah, now we're talking too much. Maybe we're jinxing it. Definitely going to drop one. No, yeah, we'll see. Let's get to it anyway. Yeah. Oi. That was great. a bit too eager. Full screw. Full screw. That's the Danish expression. Full screw. Full screw, yeah. Oi. Oi. I'm sorry. What? Oh, that's super easy. It is the same. Oh, you did the same thing. Okay, I'm just feeling a little insecure. It's the same. I just did it in time lapse. You did it in time lapse? No one saw it. You can see. Of course not. I'm just kidding. I was perfect. You're perfect. Always perfect. I'm always perfect. That's true. I meant to drop the window. Yeah, you meant to drop the window. Oh. I hate these kind of screws. And then, there it is. We have to ride on it. With our luck, we'll be so old, we'll probably have dementia before we have to put these back in. Let's keep it positive. What the hell? We'd be retired by then. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Okay. That's great. I do not agree with that statement. So, okay. As you can see, the kids are having fun. Alan! Oh God. Oh, I'm bleeding on the boat. Did you cut your finger? Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh. Yeah, that's what you get for showing off. Yep. And now I'm bleeding on the boat. That one. And again, here we can see that the way this is made, they drilled some holes up into the bottom of the door, and this just sits onto those. And it slides. Okay. Yeah. It is quite smart, but not so waterproof. And it's not. There's no rail up here. No. This is only the wood making the rail for the door sliding in. Yeah. So it's not really held onto. No. There's no rubber gaskets. There's nothing. So. Yeah. I think it's really good, but I think we need something else. Yeah. This might still work, but we'll see. Yeah. Oh.
Okay then.
After taking out the windows, we've been discussing whether or not to keep the windows as they are. Both the thickness of the glass and the framing makes us doubt how seaworthy they actually are. This glass is 6 mm in thickness, but we would like to go up to 10 mm at least for the big windows in the front. So now we've made contact with the glass company to see how much it would cost to change out all the glass to 10 mm. Follow for more of that in a later episode. Well, now that the weekend is over and Heidi and the kids are back to school and work and everything, it's time for me to have a look at the fuel fills. I'm starting by removing the old pieces of hose that are connected to them. Okay, that was a bit easier than I thought. I thought we might have to bring out the grinder and cut it open, but apparently not. Let's go for the other one. It's a really good thing that we're doing this, not just because of the rust in the deck, but also, as you can see here, the straps are almost completely gone. With the hoses gone, it's just a matter of unscrewing the 3 screws that holds it into the deck and then pull it out. As you can see here, the glue that was supposed to make it watertight is only fastened to the rust now, and it's really easy to tap away with a hammer. The second one is no better than the first one, and I'm just using the hammer to remove the rust so we can get to assess the damage. As you can see, there's not much more than 1 mm of steel left. Now I just need to decide how much I have to cut away. I want to cut away enough so that we get all the way out to 5 mm of steel again, even if we have to cross a beam or go under the side of the wheelhouse, which we did in this case. Someday I would like to go around the boat and remove all the small wooden battens that used to hold the interior of the boat. But for now, I'm just removing what I need to get to work in the area that I'm working in. Again, I'm using the grinder to cut out the piece instead of dragging the plasma cutter and the compressor all the way over here and then back again to the workshop when I have to cut out the new piece. There we are. Another bad piece of Carla coming out, ready for a new piece to be put in. Now it's always kind of a fun game to try to fit the piece onto the new plate so you have as little waste as possible. The plasma cutter is doing a great job, and it's absolutely fantastic to be able to work in the workshop instead of sitting on a piece of wood on the ground behind the boat in all kinds of weather. We've been discussing if spending time fixing up the workshop is really the best use of our time, but we have come to the conclusion that it was time well spent because it has already made the work a lot easier. And we now have a place to store our tools as well. It's always a challenge to get just the right amount of space between the new plate and the old plate. And here we also have the problem of fitting it underneath the plate that comes down from the side of the wheelhouse. The plate, it fits. I grinded the corners, I grinded everything. So it should fit now. The only thing we have to do now is weld a small handle onto it so that I can hold it from up here while I'm placing it and adjusting it and stuff like that. But before we drag the welder over here, I think we should make a plate ready for the other hole as well, so that instead of dragging the welder over here to do one and then back and forth, we might as well do them both in one go. So I'll go have something to eat now, and then we'll cut out the other one. Now on the other hole, I used the grinder to grind away the paint around the hole. But here I'm using the burner because we have a thick layer of filler, and it's much easier to remove once we heat up the deck. When I make cutouts like this, I try always to make rounded corners, because in rounded corners it's much harder for cracks to form than if you have a pointy corner. That's why if you have a look at the doorways or portholes on larger ships, even airplane windows, they have rounded corners as well. Well, it's the next day. Yesterday we prepared the two holes and we prepared the plates that are going into the holes. So today we can start welding, and I just brought out the welder, so it's ready. And man, I'm really looking forward to getting these two closed, and when we get the two on the other side closed as well, we're more or less finished with the deck. Of course, we still have the hatches we have to do something about, but we just ordered a lot of angle iron. We've made some changes in the plans on how we're going to do the hatches, but that'll be later. But I think the next project will be starting to have a look at the hull. I know there is some problem places. We have a spot over there, and we have a spot over there that we're going to have a look at. And in order to get a good look at the hull and get to measure it properly, I think we'll have to remove all these small bracings or supports for the deck. Of course, the big beams are going to stay, but all these small ones that are welded in to hold the deck in the boat, we're going to remove. When we remove them, we'll also be able to sandblast better, and some of them are rusted away, and we have to go have a look at the rust damage down here. We'll have to see, and we'll have to measure the thickness of the hull, see if we have to change any plates. So yeah, it's a big job in removing all these steel bracings. And of course, when we're all finished removing stuff on the deck, we also have all these wooden battens that we're going to remove later. We also have some concrete we have to remove. There's a lot to do before we're finished with the hull, but it's really getting we're getting there. We're removing a lot of rust and replacing it with good steel. So yeah. And if you think this is the most exciting thing you've ever seen, subscribe to the channel, then you'll get a notification when the next video arrives. Well, but now let's get back to the welding. Now I'm just welding a small piece of flat iron onto the plate I'm going to weld in. This way I have somewhere to put the ground clamp for a good connection, and I also have a place to hold on to when I have to adjust the plate in the hole. I just love this process of getting the plate totally level with the deck. I'm using my trusty old screwdriver and the two magnets, and then it's actually a fun job to do. It's funny how things that I found difficult in the beginning, I'm now starting to enjoy. I think it's because I'm getting better at it, and I'm starting to relax more while I'm doing it. The welding is one of the places where I really think I've advanced. I'm starting to feel much more secure, and I'm starting to enjoy it much more. Of course, when we started this project, we could have chosen to get someone else to weld the boat for us. But what's the fun in that? And again, if we just pay people to do stuff for us instead of doing it ourselves, we'll never get to realize this project without drowning in debt. For every piece we weld in, you can just feel how we're getting one step closer to the end result. Well, look at that. Now, it's just time to bring out the grinder and grind it down and give it some paint, and then we're finished. Grinding down the weldings is probably the job I like the least. It's dirty. It's actually quite hard and it takes a long time, especially if I make the weldings a bit too high, which I often do. Well, I forgot to record painting this, but so you'll just have to enjoy the end result instead. This paint, of course, is only a zinc primer. It's only meant to protect the metal until we can sandblast it later. But I think that's enough welding and grinding for this episode. Next time we're going to bring out the welder. We're going to have a look at the 3 places on the other side that also needs fixing. As you can see, now we're jumping a bit back in time. That's because just before we took out the windows, we took a day off from the boat work just to clean up and tidy up the boat a bit. In the last almost 2 years of work on the boat, we've never really had a proper place to store our tools and all the other stuff we get off the boat. But now, with the workshop coming along, we can finally do a spring clean and move all the stuff away so we can get a proper clean workspace without having to move all sorts of stuff every time we have to work a new place. That's also why we made the decision to take out the rest of the windows, as you saw earlier in the video. Most days I'm alone working on Carla, so when we finally get some time where we can both be there, we try to get the best use of it. Like for example cleaning out like we're doing here. It's going to be so nice working on the boat from now on. With all this stuff gone, we're finally going to have some elbow room again. Now that we have cleared out the rest of the loose stuff in the boat, it's finally time to take apart the last piece of flooring in the boat and thereby removing the last insulation as well. The old floor is made up of multiple layers of plywood and then bolted into the frames below, so it's actually quite hard to get loose. Finally, we're removing the last of this glass wool insulation. Hopefully, we're never going to work with it again. With this last piece of floor gone, we'll be able to access the hull all around the boat, just except underneath the engine. But I think we're going to remove the engine at some point, maybe not all the way outside the boat, but just to the side inside the boat, because we will have to have a look at the hull underneath the engine as well. But that's definitely a job for another day. For now, we'll have to tackle the places we can reach, and then we'll see what we'll do about that later. Well, we've finished emptying out the boat, so I think this will be the end of this video. We really hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if you have any comments or questions or good advice for us, write them in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps us a lot. And remember, you can also go join the crew on Patreon. Thank you for now and see you next time.